All right, guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. If you haven't already, check out our last video. We talked about Champions League, so this just be Premier League this week, pretty much. Jack, we'll start with you. It was a good win over Newcastle. It wasn't their best team performance, but good individual ones. What did you make of it?
First half, it was so bad. We expected Newcastle to press us high because of our trip to Italy on Thursday. So we kind of expected that, but our passing was just off. The intensity was non-existent. So we were lucky to score and even go in at half-time drawing. But second half, first 5-10 minutes, exactly the same. But once we got a second goal, we just controlled the rest of the game. And 3-1 was probably a bit unfortunate for Newcastle. They did quite well in the first half, but second half we controlled the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously City are doing really well at the moment. So for you right now, is it just maintaining that top four spot? Because obviously Leicester are doing well right now, West Ham are doing well, Chelsea are getting back to form, and there's still a couple other teams who can still get top four as well. So is that just the main focus in the league right now for you guys?
Yeah, I think you probably all feel the same. I think the league's over now. So I think City are going to win. So it's just about making sure we're cemented in that top four and just keep progressing season after season. So trying to get even close to in terms of points tally to the winner. So if we finish second, that's good. But how many points do we finish behind City? So it's just about making sure we get top four and just improving every game.
You guys do play Chelsea next in the league, but you got Real Sociedad in between. Do you just want to rest players completely for that game, or maybe just play one or two?
I think we have to play 1 and 2 because although we're 4-0 up with 4 away goals, it's very, very unlikely them to score 4 or 5 without us scoring. So they're still a good team. So we can't just play 18-year-olds, I think, like I said in the last episode. So we'll rest players like Bruno, Maguire, Rashford, and play like Mata, Daniel James again, and just players on the fringe. So we need to rest our important players.
Yeah. Ty, how are you feeling going into that game against United next week? Obviously, it wasn't the best result against Southampton. Atletico Madrid in the week as well now. I mean, let's start with Southampton then. What do you think of that performance?
It weren't as bad as everyone was making it out to be. The only thing was, we just can't create any chances. This is the thing, Like, as much as I do not like Jorginho, at least because I don't know, it's so annoying because obviously Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic, they're all good at different things. Jorginho he's okay at passing. Kovacic is obviously really good at dribbling and stuff. Kante obviously does all the defensive stuff, but we have no creative midfielder. Obviously Mount's good and he creates some chances in it, but he doesn't he's not the kind of guy that's just gonna be able to because there was moments in that game in the first half in particular where obviously when Mount's still young, he still lacks that decision making sometimes. If you look at when we had players like Fabregas, he would always pick out some of the passes that I was seeing that Mount could have played. But obviously he's young and he's probably been our best player this season, so I'm not going to get onto him too much. But defensively, and this is what I've been saying Zuma can't play in the middle of a back three because he just switches off sometimes. When you're playing in the middle of a back three, you can't really afford to switch off because then that's just going to leave space in behind, which this is what happened. And then we let Minamino of all players look like prime Ronaldinho. So, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, now we made life harder for ourselves and we could have just won. But, typical Chelsea, when a team's in bad form, we can't go and get the job done. Happened against Arsenal in December and it's happened again against Southampton. So, now we just got to try and beat Man United, which I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Chelsea the points. I don't mind it, but Minamino scoring just made it better for me. But obviously, you got Atletico Madrid in the week now. They also lost this weekend 2-0 to Levante.
Yeah,
I personally think you'll beat them, but what do you think is the key for you to beat them? Because for me, in the big games, Suarez goes isn't as good as he was because he's not as mobile anymore. And we've seen that this year in the league as well. So would you, if you're Tuchel, would you maybe park the bus a bit more, or would you try get at them straight away?
I think the key to beating them is our biggest problem. That's being clinical. Like when we played them a few seasons ago, we basically we hit them on pretty much just 2 counter-attacks when I think it was Morata and Batshuayi that scored, which, that's just weird in itself. But so I think we need to be clinical. But then the only thing is, if you give one chance to a Chelsea player, like who's it going to be that where you're 100% sure that they're actually going to score? Giroud, maybe I'd start Giroud just because obviously he's got that experience, and if you just put the ball in the box like on his head or something, he will probably bury it. But I think we probably will sit back a little bit and then just try and hit him on the counter. That's why we'll probably start Werner as well, just for his pace. So but yeah, I'm not confident, I'll be honest. I don't know why so many Chelsea fans, they're talking about how Ziyech is suddenly going to become a world-class footballer in the space of 2 days. Like if you saw him, I don't know if you guys watched the Southampton game, but when he came on, he was awful. But yeah, I mean, I'm not confident. We'll probably lose, but hopefully we win. But I don't see it happening.
On that Ziyech thing, do you think it's because of just the system they play? Do you think it's his form, or just him in general is just not good enough?
I think it's just him, because you could talk about the system, but then even when Lampard was in charge, after the Sheffield United game when he smashed it, since then he's been terrible. He disappeared against Spurs in the home game. That was when he was in good form, and he only really performed against relegation teams, and he's the oldest one that we brought in the attacking signing, so we thought he'd be the one to try and lead this new attack going forward. But at the moment, I would not care if we sold him. There was rumours last week that AC Milan and Juventus wanted him, but then apparently they were false rumours. But if a team comes in for him in the summer, I wouldn't mind if he went.
Yeah, because you talked about the creativeness that you need. I feel like he can provide that, but because if you think about him at Ajax, he was more of a creator with his passing, or he's a good finisher too. But he can do that role. Maybe he's not good enough. Maybe it's just form. But I guess we'll find out. Tom, it wasn't a good week for you guys. 2-1 loss to West Ham. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's your 5th defeat in the last 6 Premier League games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you did well in Europa League, but what does this mean for the league? Is it top 4 over for you guys now?
It's top 4 over before we played West Ham. First of all, sorry I was late.
No,
yeah. I think the league's over. Whether we get in a Europa League spot, I don't really care. I just want to try and get a trophy, but then the main objective is I want us to win the Europa League. That'd be the big one. I think I was looking at that before the season even started, to be honest. I said that from the start. I want a trophy, but then I would like a European trophy. I know it's Europa League, but you get Champions League, and we're going to get Champions League. I was confident at the start because we were in a title race that lasted, I can't remember how long it lasted, maybe a month. And then it just gone so downhill. It's ridiculous. But I'm not surprised because our squad is shit and it's been shit for a long time. But people don't realise that. I mean, our fan base is very mixed right now. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of Mourinho out, and then it's a lot of people actually protecting Mourinho and saying it's not his fault. It's a bit like how Arsenal was a couple. I think we're literally entering Arsenal's stage. When you were losing Wenger and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're now. This is a possible chance of us going into what Arsenal have been going through a couple of years. And if we don't sort it out in the summer, I think we very well definitely will go in that route, and that'll be annoying because that means Arsenal will now gain a couple of years on us because they're already in that process of rebuilding. So we need to make sure our Our transfer business and recruitment is like top dollar next year because bruv, it is so shit, honestly. Like, I've never known our fan base to be so mixed with what the problem is. It's either some people are saying it's the board, some people are saying it's Mourinho, but I don't know. It's all negative at the club when it comes to the league. However, the positive is we are in a final. Whether we'll win it, I doubt it. I'm not confident in City. I'm really confident to win the Europa League either because I think United win that, to be honest. But we're in it. A positive to take out West Ham though. Reguilon's back. He had a very good game. I thought he was brilliant. Put some brilliant balls in. Missed him so much. And Gareth Bale was absolutely excellent in the second half. I thought he was our best player and he only played one half. He was so good. Honestly, you could go back to when last year when we were talking about Ndombele. Everyone was saying it's fitness issues. It's not, because everyone gets fitness issues, right? It is fitness issues, but what Mourinho seems to be, this is the only thing I will say about Mourinho that he's got wrong with Ndombele and now Bale. And Ndombele is an example of this. Last year, he would not play him because he kept saying he's not ready, he's not fit. The problem is, though, if you don't play him, he will never be fit. You can do so many fitness stuff in the training pitch, it will help, but you need match fitness. You need to play 5 games all the time. You should keep playing him and he'll get better. He can do 90-minute games now. We used to take him off at like the 60th minute. He's doing 90-minute games. He needs to do that with Bale now because, and I think this is the perfect time because last year when we were shit as well because we had so many injuries, that was probably the reason last year, but we still had the shit squad. We had nothing. There was no pressure on us because no one expected anything. So I used to say, just play Ndombele. You might as well. There's nothing worth fighting for. You might as well play him. We're in the same situation. Fucking play Bale. Just keep playing him every game. Get him back to what he is. Because then if you do, that's a positive for next year. He can stay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, we ain't going to re-sign Bale again. We need to get him back and we need to play him. I thought that was the only positive out of the game, to be honest. And it's proven that if you play him, they will get better. Just look at Ndombele. He's one of the best midfielders in the league and he's showing it now. He's so silky and techie. Everyone knew he had that ability, but he wasn't able to show it last year. You play him, he'll be ready. It's the same with Bale.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point you make there. Bale was unbelievable. I mean, I was just shocked that Lucas Moura scored a header as well. But then Sterling scored one against us, so maybe it's just that weekend that happened. But
I got a question for Tom, quick.
Go for it.
Would you sell one of your main 2 players to just rebuild just because, you know, what? Not even because, like, obviously you talk about how you need all these signings.
You on about Spurs Son and Kane?
Yeah. Would you sell one of them?
You can't sell them. I mean, if they accepted one, I wouldn't be one of them people say, what are you doing? Because I'm in this frame of mind, like, I feel so bad for Harry Kane. He's literally going to go down as the best ever player in the world to never win anything. So all our fan base would not care, like, as in personal terms with Kane or Son. But there's no way we will sell Kane or Son. There's no chance. We sell them, we're going to be so shit. We'll be like, remember last year of Arsenal? They would have been in a relegation battle without Aubameyang. That is what we will be if that happens. We will be fucked. We will not sell them. There's no chance.
Yeah, I was only asking because you know how, like, you're bored. They're not really ones to just go and splash like 200 million out of their own pocket in it, so they might just run out. Like they done with the Bale money a few years ago. Do you think?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we were at that point in time, we weren't as big. We were that was in the start of our rebuild. Bale helped us. Now we've been getting Champions League for so many years now. We've now got the stadium. We are now a massive club. We cannot afford to not be in the Champions League. So to be in the Champions League, you have to buy the players. So he's going to have to spend. He's got no choice now.
What if he doesn't?
He's fucked, isn't he?
Yeah,
We're
I
going
mean,
to go downhill if we don't.
I think there's
If
another
we don't
problem as well,
sign anyone, we're fucked.
because Arsenal and Spurs, like we're 9th and 10th right now. You guys are 9th, we're 10th. You would expect us to get at least 1 or 2 places higher by come the end of the season. But I was thinking about the other day, because now there's UEFA, whatever, Europa Conference League or whatever, in it.
Yeah,
So
I
that
saw
must be
that.
from like 7th to 9th place or something, and that's just going to make it even worse. We're gonna,
What, for us?
like, say if Arsenal or Spurs finish in those places.
Are you talking about the thing they've been talking, like that Super League thing they've been talking
No,
about?
UEFA Conference League.
It's like
It's a step
yeah.
below the Europa
So it's
League.
even
Oh, I haven't seen that, to be honest.
So it starts
But
next
yeah, we
season.
won't be in that.
So it's less budget if you get into that. I mean, yeah, I think that they play on Thursdays as well, though. So it's not like Friday or anything. They play on Thursdays with Europa League. It's just even worse teams. I don't understand
man.
it. But
I'd rather not be in the European competition. if they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah.
Europa League you could bear, yeah, but that.
yeah,
Nah,
exactly.
no
Yeah.
chance.
So, well, let's go on to Arsenal now. It was a frustrating game for me because when you lose it in the first minute or so, it's just so annoying because 1-0 as well. Obviously, it is against the best team in Europe on form right now, but when it's 1-0, there's always a chance, no matter who you are. And the goal as well, I mean, fair enough, the cross from Aros is basically pinpoint, but there has to be better communication between Holding and Bellerin there just to make so one of them pick up Sterling, you know. When someone's 5'7" and he gets a free header in the box, that's just crazy for me to process. But apart from this first maybe 10, 15 minutes, Holding was pretty good. Mari's pretty good. They were playing a different role because Holding was just on De Bruyne, following him to the halfway line, and then Mari's doing the same with Gundogan. Mahrez was good, to be honest. Tierney's first game back wasn't easy for him. Mahrez was all over him. Bellerin, I mean, I felt bad for Pepe, honestly, because we just couldn't get the ball to him because Bellerin and Odegaard as well, because when Bellerin runs forward, there'll be 2 open options, but he'll keep dribbling until the very last second as soon as the defender's on him and then release it, giving everyone else so much less time as well. And the way City defend is they will get everyone back into the box as quickly as possible and then do the same on the other side. So you don't have time to just stay on the ball that long. You have to attack them quickly. There's one attack where we got the ball out wide to Pepe Bellerin. By the time they got the cross in, there's about, I think all the City players apart from Jesus were in the box defending the cross. And we just had a Aubameyang and Lacazette in there. So that's just the problem with City. I mean, this game now on Thursday is just huge. Obviously, I do want Arteta to stay and give him until the end of next season. But if you lose that Benfica game, then you do have to ask questions. I don't really ask too many about him right now. The only thing I really question him on is the timing of substitutions. But knowing that he worked under Pep, that's not a surprise because Pep sometimes goes games without you making this up. So I guess you can understand that. But against City, I was just sitting there 65th, 70th minute, maybe just bring on someone, inject a bit of pace there. And I get, obviously, Benfica is a bigger game in terms of defining our season, but I'm not saying we're in the top 4 race, but if we get a point in that or winning that, it does put us that little bit closer. So it's a bit annoying, especially now that our next game is Leicester away as well in the league, and they're on great form right now. But yeah, this Benfica game is just massive, even bigger than it was for us now. But yeah,
You were too safe in that game.
Yeah, I feel like
Arteta was happy. Would rather lose 1-0 than go and win and then lose 2-0.
Yeah, it's because I know what you're saying. So the last 3 times we played at the Emirates, they've taken the lead in the first 3 minutes each time. And the problem is, in those games, we went for afterwards. But then Foden will score a goal, or someone else score a goal, and we lose 3-0, 3-1. I think this time we're just happy, if you keep a 1-0 against this team, it's not the worst result. As a fan, obviously, it is frustrating as well because you want to see your team maybe go for that draw. But yeah, it's annoying. But people say, "Oh, we're becoming a team that just settles for this." It's Man City, man. They will, if you push them, they're more likely to score a goal than you score a goal because that's exactly what they want: space in behind, space for Jesus to run in, Sterling to run in. I mean, I understand, we should go for the win, but it is Man City. Sometimes you got to accept it.
I think it's hard to say from your point of view, Joe. I think Joel's been basically saying you got to be realistic with that where they are at the moment. That'd be the same with us.
They still had players on the pitch that could have tried to create something. They still had like Odegaard, Saka, Aubameyang.
That's the thing, though. We created chances, especially like in the end of the first half. But like you said, we're just not clinical enough as well. I mean, if we were clinical, we would have been ahead in that Benfica game. The Leeds game was somewhat clinical, but at the same time, their defense isn't great. I mean, Ruben Diaz and John Stones are unbelievable in that game. I mean, I remember that one time Stones just bodied Aubameyang, like it was just simple for him, you know. Like it was unbelievable. Zinchenko, we didn't really challenge him enough, in my opinion, because we couldn't get the ball to him because of Bellerin most of the time. Like I said to you before the game as well, El Neni, the guy will just stay in the ball for 20 seconds. It just goes, he won't move forward with it. He'll just stay still. And then what that does is sucks our players towards him. So when he does release the pass, you can't really turn out because everyone's like so congested in our half. And that just gives City the ball back. So I wanted Ceballos on earlier, but I think he was just saving him for Benfica. So Thursday night's going to be a huge night for us. Hopefully we just see it through. But elsewhere in the league, obviously Leicester beat Aston Villa 2-1. Maddison and Harvey Barnes the goal. I don't know if you guys saw it. So it came out today. So Grealish obviously didn't play in the game. And there were a couple of leaks around that as well as to why he didn't play. So today, Aston Villa banned their players and staff from taking part in fantasy football because some of their staff had benched Grealish from their team. And that was the leak as to why people knew that Grealish wasn't going to start in that game because their staff had benched him knowing that Grealish was injured or whatever. So because of that, Villa have banned their players and staff from taking part in their fantasy football league. So to stop those leaks from happening, which I thought was hilarious. But it was a big win for Leicester. Big loss for Villa as well because they had the game in hand. You want to see them get as many points as possible from their perspective. But obviously you spoke about the Spurs West Ham game for them. I mean, Lingard is on form right now. Probably came the England team as well somehow, but fair play to him if he's scoring and assisting pretty much every game. Liverpool lost the Merseyside derby. They weren't great, but that penalty decision, I don't think is a penalty personally.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it.
Can't do anything. He's on the floor.
He's not even looking at him. He's just going to block the shot. So that was beyond me, but I still think Everton
they deserve to win. Yeah,
100%. And they're playing. They're maintaining a push for the top four because I think they got a game in hand as well. Fulham are slowly getting a bigger chance of getting out that bottom three. They're 3 points off Newcastle now. I think
they'll stay up. Newcastle will go down.
Yeah, the Newcastle are getting a bit better, but with obviously St. Maximin returning, that was always guaranteed they'll play a bit better. But at the same time, the results just aren't good enough from their perspective. And Fulham are on great form right now. Ademola Lookman scored the only goal in the game, I think, in their win. So he's doing well right now. Tonight is the Crystal Palace and Brighton game. I think it's A23 derby, so that could be a good game. Leeds lost to Wolves, I believe 1-0 as a Melia own goal. I think that's pretty much all the teams in the league. Elsewhere, Lukaku and Arturo Martinez tore apart AC Milan. So my question for Jack and Ty, would you take Lukaku back at your respective teams? Because there are a bit of striker issues.
100%. Yes.
Jack, could you take Lukaku over Martial?
Oh yeah, I have Martial, but I wouldn't take him back. Because
you think there's too much history there.
It is that, there's that, and then people go on about, good at Everton and good, he's doing well at Inter, but as a fan watching him every game, he missed so many chances. Like I saw a video today and it was like saying how well he was doing at Inter, but then they got showed back to so many clips of just easy chances at Man United.
That's what I was going to say. It's very open. That league is very open. It's not like our football where you're tight. You're more restricted in the Premier League. I remember he used to get so much stick from missing chances at Man United. To be fair, he wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he was the first season. He was excellent, but that second season, he missed too many chances, and his touch was just so bad. Sometimes he literally injured himself by falling over the ball.
Do you reckon
Like,
that was a confidence thing though? Like,
Yeah, it was
because a lot of stuff happened that season, isn't it? So who knows?
yeah, I get that, but surely as a striker, you should still be able to finish one-on-ones, whether your confidence is high or low.
Yeah,
Trust me, that doesn't happen. I can tell you from Timo
He's-
Werner. Like,
I would probably, I'd take him over Martial, but I wouldn't want him back.
yeah, okay, that's fair
If
enough.
he was because I do feel we need a new striker. If he was the only one on the market, yeah, but I wouldn't take him first choice.
Yeah, I mean, he is top scorer in Serie A right now. I think Inter are 4 points clear as well, above AC Milan because of that big win. Juve are playing tonight though, so see how that goes. Otherwise, Haaland and Sancho also doing very well in their last game with Schalke. Haaland scored a great goal. Sancho assisted that and scored a goal on his own as well. Player we already talked about last week because they smashed it in Champions League as well. Bayern not on great form since winning the Club World Cup. They got a 3-3 draw against Bielefeld. I'm not too sure how to say it, but then they lost 2-1 to Frankfurt over the weekend, 2-0 down. Then Lewandowski still pulled one back, of course. But I think they got Lazio in the Champions League this week. So I think that's definitely a game potentially to look out for because Lazio aren't doing terrible this year, but they're obviously still not Bayern Munich like levels. I know form is a big factor, of course. Atalanta, Real Madrid this week as well in the Champions League. Atalanta obviously lost Papu Gomez, which is a big miss for them. He was their main creator, of course. They're Mönchengladbach against Man City as well. I think there's only one way that game's going. No respect to Mönchengladbach, but Man City just do look unstoppable. Obviously, De Bruyne gave minutes as well against us, so he'll be ready and fit for that. Tottenham are playing the Europa League game on Wednesday for some reason. I'm not too sure why that is.
I don't even know, to be honest.
Fair enough. Trying to break the Thursday night thing, but Chelsea, Atletico, Lazio, Bayern, yeah. PSG, I think it's worth talking about with a bit more depth this week. Obviously, have a big league and agenda. It's not a PSG agenda, it's a league and agenda. Let's get it right. But PSG lost 2-0 to Monaco yesterday, if I'm correct. So it's interesting because now Lille are 4 points clear. Then if I'm correct, I'll check. Lyon are second. And then it's PSG and Monaco, yeah. So Lille are 58 points, Lyon 55, PSG 54, and Monaco 52. That closed the gap between them really nicely. Obviously, the Ligue 1 isn't at the Prem. Prem, you get 4 Champions League spots. Ligue 1 is only 3. So if PSG do finish 4th, obviously it's unlikely, but the way the table's looking, there is a chance they won't even get Champions League next year. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights of the game against Monaco, but the goals they conceded weren't good goals. Like one was a early cross at the back post. The other was a centre-back finished it quite comfortably in the bottom corner, but it's just because PSG failed to clear the ball on about 3 separate occasions. They didn't really have any clear-cut chance apart from Moise Kean in the second half. What did PSG do to just get a more competitive league? Because they can't. I know it's competitive in the sense that Lyon and Lyon are doing well, but how do you go from beating Barcelona 4-1 at Camp Nou to now losing 2-0 to Monaco at home?
Because they've been desperate for a Champions League for years and years and years.
Probably too comfortable in that league.
And they, to be honest, if they didn't win the league, I don't even think they'd give a shit.
Yeah.
They won't win the Champions League anyway, man.
That's what they're desperate for.
Who are their centre backs? Marquinhos and who?
Kimpembe.
Yeah, he's not that good, man. Like, they haven't replaced Thiago Silva, in my opinion. They should have signed a centre back. But then you could say, who's going to go to the French league? So obviously that's always going to be a problem. And obviously the midfield, which I spoke about before. So
yeah.
I mean,
PSG in Champions League. Or it's depending on how Bayern do, depending on their form as well. In fact, Bayern and City are the biggest threat. We say not only threat, but biggest threat, because Real Madrid aren't great this season either. I know they won the weekend, but
Liverpool.
yeah,
not
Liverpool, they beat Leipzig, but they played well against
Yeah,
Leipzig. Don't get me wrong, but Leipzig did make mistakes
Yeah,
for
but-
them.
Yeah, but when they come up against the real big
Yeah.
teams,
Especially
they'll
Van
they'll be
Dijk and
fucked.
injuries.
Yeah,
Can we
Yeah.
can we talk about this Liverpool decline, please? Because it didn't start this season, in my opinion. Right, it started, yeah. They lost 3-0 to Watford, yeah. And then they lost to Chelsea. Then they got slapped by Atletico, and then they won the league, yeah. And then they were getting beaten by teams like Arsenal and City
They'd already won the league
and all
though.
that. I get that. But even before Van Dijk got injured, they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa.
that was okay. I know Van Dijk is in that game, yeah, but watch that game back and look how shit Adrian is.
Yeah, and I swear they had so many fluky goals.
Yeah,
So many
listen,
There's quite a few
goals.
deflections.
No, but they were still leaking goals before Van Dijk got injured, though. This is what I'm saying, because they only beat Leeds like 4-3 as well. Like they had a lot of suspect games when Van Dijk was fit
That
as
was
well.
the first
So I
game of
don't
the
think-
season. And Leeds
So?
play such attacking football. You're probably going
If
to
Van
concede.
Dijk weren't injured, they'd still be in the title race.
Do you think?
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, they would, because having Van Dijk injured is like having Henderson injured anyway, because you're taking Henderson out of his position. He's not a centre back. He's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
best deep line players right now. I think
It
he's
makes
so
you feel more
underrated. He
comfortable.
don't get enough respect.
They do have centre backs though, so I don't know why they were still playing.
He just clearly don't trust him. Just
I
clearly
think-
don't trust him.
So
They
Kabak's
They
playing,
got
but
injured as well.
yeah, the other centre back, I can't remember his name.
He's
Ben
on about
Davies.
the young
Ben-
players.
Yeah, I think he's injured at the moment.
He's
So
on about
bad
young
they were.
players.
Well, Reece Williams, I think, is that the one that plays centre back?
Yeah, I
he's
think
awful.
Nah,
Yeah, he's awful.
He's
Yeah.
terrible.
Phillips. He's not
Yeah.
terrible.
No, I thought it was Phillips was the one that was. I can't remember. There was one that played
The
against
one with,
United
like,
that
the big-
basically just
yeah.
kept going to ground.
Yeah.
He
That's
just
Reece
slid
Williams.
that everywhere.
Yeah,
That's the
he's
beat of Van
terrible.
Dijk. Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's just maybe just Klopp trusting Henderson more, Fabinho more of
Yeah.
the more experienced players. But yeah, I think obviously a lot of it comes like a lot of Twitter hates Thiago because not hates Thiago, but looks to blame him. But you got to understand when Liverpool have Van Dijk or even Gomez next to him. I know like Gomez can't do it on his own, but those two really do just man the defense really well, and they can hold a high line usually. I know the start of the season is a bit shaky, but they can do it, and that just allows the midfield to press higher, like Henderson press higher. That allows them to keep the ball a lot more, get the ball back a lot more quicker. So if Thiago is in that side with the fully fit ones, I think you would see why they signed him, because it was like a buy-in. They kept the ball so much he could control the tempo when they're on the ball. But now Henderson's not a centre back. Fabinho's not really a centre back. They will win the ball as high up the pitch, let it drop back rather than press high. I think that's just a little change for them. That is causing them a lot of problems. But at the same time, you don't expect them to be where they are in the league despite the injuries. I know there's differences from this season for them, like not just the injuries, because every team will get injuries, but you know, a more congested fixture list, the later start, everything that will affect them, affect every team. So I think it's unfair to like say, oh, it's just like every other season, because it's not like every other season. But
No.
especially with, I mean, injuries do happen to every team, but it's very unlikely that you'll get that many injuries in one position
they've
alone.
had. I mean, this was coming because how many years have they? I've been saying it because Tottenham have had it bad, Arsenal had it bad. Well, I used to always say Liverpool never get injuries. They never did. Never got injuries. You might see Alisson was literally the only one.
Well, they
who
got
gets them all
injured
the time.
to like the squad
Yeah,
players. They
come
never
back
got
next
injured to
week.
Mane, Salah, Firmino.
Yeah.
And
No
it's
one ever
just-
got
And then
injured.
now they're all coming at the same time.
They don't have a squad. That's the thing. Like I've always said, it's
Yeah,
just the starting
they were very
11.
lucky.
They don't have a squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best starting 11, but Man City have the best squad.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I think we'll see that now as well. When you win every game without De Bruyne and Aguero, really. So
And that's why I love Man City's board. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. I know they fucking chuck a lot of money, but to be honest, you just need to. You can't be stingy with your money anymore. If you want to compete at that level, you got. And to be
You
fair,
gotta pay.
Liverpool were doing that. Liverpool have done that. but they need to continue to do it. That's something that we fucking need to do.
Yeah, but
We
Liverpool
need
only
to
do
do
it when they
that.
sell players. That's the only thing. Like, because
Sold
they done it because
Coutinho
they sold
and-
Coutinho.
Yeah, we'll sell
Mm.
players, but like you'd never see us going fucking like if Van Dijk's available. Like Klopp and Liverpool would not have wanted to pay 75 million. It was 75,
No.
weren't it?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have
Yeah.
wanted to pay that, but they wanted him. So they thought, well, we're paying it because he's our main target. We want him. As much as we don't agree with the fee, we want him. Daniel Levy wouldn't do that. He'd go to probably the
Yeah.
fucking fourth option. It's just need to step up. That's why I respect Man City and Liverpool recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I mean, everyone's saying, I think Liverpool, they're saying Liverpool are the worst title holders ever, but
No.
I don't think they are. I think Chelsea,
No.
when Mourinho
Yeah,
got sacked,
Chelsea.
and even if you look at City last year, I don't want to say the worst, but
It's not easy, is it?
Yeah, it's not easy, but like City were like 20 something points off the title last year when Liverpool won it. I mean,
Exactly.
that's not a great defense in my opinion either. So obviously finished second, it sugarcoats it a bit, but it's not a great defense. So
And Leicester as well, but then that one doesn't really count because that was
yeah, I mean, I think that just gives more credit to when United used to pretty much win it back to back every season, because it's clearly not easy for any team to do, even with
Give
City's
credit to
depth.
Ferguson.
Exactly.
And even we
Fergie.
did it. I know we changed manager, but we won the league. They finished 7th the year after with David Moyes.
Yeah,
I know it's different manager. Like you can't compare Moyes to Fergie, but we didn't do. Still had.
If you look
mean,
at Man United's
that
team as
squad
well,
just won the league. So
their squad weren't. They had some brilliant players, but then they had these players that you thought that would actually play, and you think no, like Man City's. You see, look at Man City's squad and even Liverpool's is stacked with like really, really good players. You look at Ferguson's teams; he could win a title with just not as many.
Cleverly and all them.
Yeah, he could do
the
it.
squad
It was
players.
just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
yeah, I think fair play to him. Other than that, I think that's all pretty much all the leagues covered. So European action again, probably be back on Friday to review all that. Hopefully we'll all be happy, but you never know with our teams. But yeah, Prem tonight as well. So, and of course, football fans should be back for the last game of the season, if I'm correct. So 10,000 fans for each home.
That's not smart.
I mean, a lot could change before that. It might not happen. So
Wait, when is that?
it will be for the last game of the season. I think May 17th. After that, sporting events allowed fans.
Yeah, that'll be all right. Everyone be vaccinated by then.
A bit FA Cup final, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's what that is the
Yeah.
first test event, they said.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to wait and see. But yeah, until then, have a nice.
Before I think it's time to